Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationship stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting a like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. You sick of hearing that intro yet? Let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Normal Bottle 641 and says, my husband doesn't want to have intimacy with me unless it is to conceive kids. Sorry, English isn't my first language. I, female 26, have recently gotten married to my husband, Edward, male 26, 2 months ago. We both attended the same church ever since we were born, and I started to like him over the years. At 20, we started gradually talking to each other and got engaged at 24. My husband is very religious and never misses a service. I too am religious, but not as much as him. We both respect the other's choices and it's not really an issue between us. However, when we were dating and engaged, he didn't come near me in any way. For example, we rarely held hands and he never hugged nor kissed me on the cheeks, even though it's a form of greeting that's very used in our culture. It bothered me a bit, but I think he was doing it out of respect. The roller coaster was our wedding night. During the ceremony, we danced for the first time. We held hands, and when we got to our hotel room, we hugged and he kissed me for the first time on my lips. It wasn't like making out or anything, just a peck. That's it, nothing else. We didn't do anything more, not even cuddled. We just showered and went to sleep. We were extremely exhausted. Right when I was about to fall asleep when we were talking, he told me that he won't do anything unless it is to conceive kids. I wasn't sure of what to say, so I just remained silent and dozed off. This literally crushed my expectations. Of course, I understand that he doesn't want to do anything, but really, not until we decide to have kids, which is minimum 2 years away. I love my husband with all my heart, and I would never leave him as he is the best and most respectful human being I have ever met, an amazing person overall. But I can't seem to accept this. Ever since I was a teen, I've been addicted to Wattpad and spicy stories, so of course, I've always dreamt of my wedding night. I didn't really want to keep my expectations really high because I knew that it was most likely not come to reality, but I never thought that this could happen. I was disappointed for the rest of our honeymoon, which lasted a week. I know it's my fault for not talking to him about it, but I was really afraid of doing so. You see, in our culture, it's not appropriate for a woman to talk about these things, nor initiate intimacy. Plus, Edward is religious like I said, so I was afraid of him judging me if I did anything that he can consider unholy or whatever. I even tried to seduce him for the past couple of months, but he wouldn't look at me. Not in a mean way, but he would just laugh it off and give me a peck or something like that. It's really starting to bug me because I have a somewhat high drive and really want to do things with him. I can't help it. I don't really know what's the reason behind this, and I don't know how to address the subject with him. Once more, I will not even consider leaving him. So please, all advice will be appreciated. And we're starting the comments with Emotional Agony, who says, he didn't even give you a choice to consider if you still wanted to marry him. I mean, did you know he would not have sex with you unless it was to conceive kids, or he dropped that bomb on your wedding day after you married him? MEA says, sweetie, you need to talk to whoever does couples counseling at your church and tell them the marriage isn't consummated. This isn't you having a high drive or being inappropriate as a woman. There's a real problem here. You need an annulment. Your marriage isn't legal. Tater Chip Dip says, come on now. Dude gives you a peck on the lips and laughs at you like a cute little puppy begging for attention when you want intimacy. What are you looking to find out from the internet? Your husband is 100% gay. Sometimes people fall on a scale and manage to pretend to be straight for a while for religious purposes and kids. This guy can't even do that. And eventually his rejections will become more stern and probably mean. Fluffy Vacation says, as a guy, my first thought wasn't that he was gay. My first thought was that you guys haven't even had sex yet, like not one time. So his intentions is to wait years to have children, but not even attempt to have sex. And that's when it clicked for me, he probably is gay. And there's nothing you're going to be able to do to change those circumstances. He sees sex with a woman as a baby maker, not as something he would enjoy. I mean, even if it was completely religious, he would still be trying to do it. Honestly, I think there's a lot of unspoken red flags that you could probably piece together right now. He might be the type to stay late at work, might be the type to just happen to avoid certain situations, etc. I've never seen a guy not try to have sex, even if they fully believed in only doing it for children. But I do wonder if you got on birth control and you guys started having sex regularly to have children, then it might speed up the revelation that is gay. He's not going to want to have sex with you too often if he's gay. He's probably going to hope you get pregnant quickly, which I do think maybe the guilt will overwhelm him every time if you don't think you can talk to him, and maybe then he will slip up. But then I think about the other side of the coin. If he is gay, is it possible he's sleeping with other men right now? I'd be worrying about STDs. Hell, it might even be a good idea for you to get an STD screening with him. In either instance, I would highly suggest trying to find a way to dig into his phone. Hire a private investigator, try to find him on social media or Grindr. One more comment from Nat Attack, who says, I'm not going to jump on the he's gay bandwagon because more than enough people have said it. And I'm not going to advise you to get an annulment either because I know you love him and that's the last thing you want to hear. I will say though that in quite a few religions, if your marriage is not consummated, then you aren't actually married. You should probably bring this up to your pastor or whoever heads your church because your husband has some really odd thoughts regarding sex and procreation. I don't know your religion, none of my business, but whatever faith you follow will probably have something written in holy text about marriage and consummation. Islam, Catholicism, etc. There are laws about it. I'm not a super religious person. Obviously, I don't know every religion, but it's just a quick Google search to find out what you're looking for. Hope you update us with good news, OP. Good luck. So OP does update the post and they said, hi, long story short, for the people who don't want to read the whole story, it turned out that my husband is embarrassed of himself and thought it wasn't normal to feel aroused. So after posting yesterday, I was literally bombarded by hundreds of comments suggesting that Edward might be a homosexual and using me to cover up his sexuality. I wasn't ready at all for such a possibility and it had never crossed my mind actually. Compared to other people from our community, we are one of the few who aren't homophobic. We previously discussed our sexualities before. I don't want to really get into the topic, but Edward was really honest with me at the time that he is straight and that he can't just picture himself being homosexual, religious or not. Besides, we both have online jobs, so we are together literally the whole time and have mutual friends. So I'd quickly have noticed any suspicious behavior. Today, I decided to confront him like many of you suggested. I'd been repeating continuously my script in my head and went for it. We were both chilling after having lunch, so I asked him if he wanted to talk about sex and intimacy. He said yes and was curious about what was bothering me. I was direct and simply asked him why he won't do anything with me unless it is for kids. Edward got genuinely surprised and confused by my question. At that moment, I just wanted to disappear from this universe and evaporate. Because of the embarrassment, I am not physically able to recall how the conversation went exactly. But it turned out he thought it wasn't normal to feel aroused around me, nor to have sex unless for procreation. I felt really bad for him. Apparently that's what he grew up thinking, and that's what his friends and environment he grew up in abused him into believing. I cannot imagine they did this to him. I'm sure it's to make fun of him and mess around, which led to completely messing up his view on sexual matters and desires. There is no way that they would also believe in this themselves. This conversation went on for a couple of hours. I realized that it might have been very hard on him to talk about this specific topic, so we had a rest from the subject and took a nap. After that nap, he apologized for not talking about this with me beforehand. We discussed many other things, and the fact that he never displayed any affection before our wedding was due to his beliefs. And don't worry, we also talked about our wedding night. But basically he got aroused every time he came near me, so he felt extremely ashamed of showing it or acting on it and thought I was just teasing him. He also didn't want to do something that could be considered bad according to what they fed his mind with. Not gonna lie, I expressed to him my resentment and the way he asked for my opinion on this matter. He apologized again and said he was afraid of what my reaction would be if he expressed himself. We tried to sort things out and we promised we'd start working on physical touch. Edward said that he would never do anything that would make me feel down ever again, and he will always be ready to answer all of my questions. This realization was really like a slap across the face for him, so I suggested going to therapy. He immediately agreed, and starting tomorrow, we will look for a therapist. Going on Reddit wasn't really the best idea, but it really gave me a push. Having this conversation was definitely something we should have done sooner, way back when we were engaged. Also, to everyone telling me to leave. Just because the problem was about intimacy doesn't mean I would leave him. Of course, if this took another turn and if I found out that he was cheating on me or lying, I would have immediately divorced him without looking back. I know that intimacy is very important to couples and healthy relationships, but if Edward is not comfortable and has issues with this matter, I have no choice but to understand him. He has always been there for me and always showed me his love and support. Just not through physical ways. The least I could do is understanding him and respecting his boundaries. Until we talk everything out, I will not pressure him into doing anything and would rather do it step by step. In the end, we cried together and laughed about ourselves. Then he made us some snacks that we had while watching our favorite TV series. Now Edward is sleeping right next to me, closer than usual. I feel happy about it even though it's not much, but definitely considered improvement. I also feel much more better than yesterday. There are still many things that we need to discuss and so many more steps to take. I think I might update our situation later on, but right now I would like to thank all the kind comments and nice people who tried to reach out and cheer me up. So yeah. Then OP adds a second update and says, "Hi, I know it's been a month since I last updated you guys, but I was really busy and I have some good news. Also for the new people here, I have the other parts posted on my page. So like I mentioned in my last post, we started looking for therapists and found some sort of center a couple of days later. Basically, they're like a group of therapists specialize in different types of issues, so once we explained to them our situation, they assigned us to a couples therapist. She was actually very understanding of our situation, and we had a few sessions which are very eye-opening. She navigated us throughout our emotions and basically was more like a consultant than a therapist. As for my husband, he was assigned to another therapist and has sessions with him twice a week. It's not just about our issue, but they found out that my husband has some deep childhood traumas that he needs to work on. This journey will take him a couple of months apparently, and this is something that he definitely needs, so he's totally ready for it. As for our intimate life, our therapist advised us to show each other more affection before taking things slowly and watching educational videos as references. So for a week, we tried showering each other with random hugs, kisses and cuddles, and this was really addicting. For Edward, it was really something new, but now he won't stop with the back hugs and is very comforting. Then I started teasing him, taking things to another level like the therapist said, since Edward is still trying to build up the courage to do so. After a while, we made out for the first time. It felt super great, and from there, we started getting touchy. We did this for like 2 weeks and got freakier each day. The videos were really helpful. We also took our first shower together and played around. Also, these little achievements really made me happy. And for the big thing, we finally made love 2 days ago. It was very great and we took it slowly, but both really enjoyed it. It felt like a different level of closeness, and I'm very proud of my husband for finally taking this step without feeling bad or guilty about it. Not only that, but we also went on some dates as a change of routine and tried new restaurants, which I really love. Edward surprised me with my dream restaurant and we had a blast. Our communication is 10 times better than before, and it really feels like the wall that was standing between us is completely gone. There are still so many things that we haven't tried, so we're really excited. I also told him about my smut obsession yesterday, and he asked me to give him a list of fanfics that I really like so he could make them happen in real life. That was really so awesome. I still can't get over this. And lastly, since our honeymoon wasn't really a honeymoon, we're thinking of going on one this Christmas maybe, so I can't wait. By the way, to all the comments that suggested using toys, we talked about it, but the therapist said that this could be too early and that Edward might get addicted to it if we use them during our first, so I guess we will wait. Thank you to everyone for all the kind messages I received. I don't think there is anything else left to update, so thanks for sticking with me. And I absolutely do love the communication and that the way they work through it in this story, and just proving once again how communication is key. I can't help but feel sorry for the guy in this story about all this time, how he's felt shame, for finding his wife attractive. But once again, I'm glad that the therapy's working out for them. I'm glad that they're working as a couple. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. And our next story does have an update as well from Rude Lab 9732. It's a wedding drama again. Would I be the arsehole if I didn't get a mole removed from my friend's wedding? Not the arsehole, but let's see what's happening. Hi everyone, I'm writing to you because I've been going back and forth on this issue and I feel conflicted. My 24 female friend Zoe, 25 female, is getting married and I am set to be a bridesmaid in her wedding, which is early next year. I'm excited for the wedding and I'm doing everything I can to help her out with planning and setting up. Recently, Zoe asked me out for coffee, away from the other bridesmaids, and she said that she wanted to talk to me about something privately. I agreed and asked her if something was wrong. She said it was nothing huge and she just wanted to talk to me. I met up with Zoe the other day, like she asked. It was there that she told me that she wanted me to get the mole on my face removed before the wedding. I have a mole on my right cheek, kind of near my nose. It's not huge, but it's definitely noticeable. Zoe explained that she wanted everyone to look good in the wedding photos as well as on the wedding day. Understandable, and that the mole on my face would be a distraction, and that I wouldn't look good in the photos. She said that she would pay for the surgery out of pocket as she could afford it, and all I would have to do is go in and get it removed. I told her that I needed time to think about it. She said she understood but let me know that it would be mandatory for me to have the procedure in order to be a bridesmaid. I said that I would get back to her. I'm really conflicted on this because I have had times where I've been insecure about my mole, and Zoe wasn't lying when she said that it distracts from my face. So if she was asking me to remove it, it may be better in the long run, and she's paying for it. However, I don't really know if I want such a procedure done to my face, which is why I'm thinking about not going through with it. But Zoe is my friend, and more importantly, she's the bride and I want her to have the best day, which is why I think I may be the arsehole if I didn't go through with it. Would I be wrong if I didn't get the mole on my face removed? Edit. Hi everyone. Wow, and thanks for all the responses. I just want to clear up a few things. Firstly, I'm not completely insecure about my mole, at least not so much anymore. I used to cover it up with foundation and heavy concealer and all that. Now I feel more comfortable wearing less makeup and not covering it. Doesn't mean that I 100% love it, but I'm slowly starting to embrace it. I haven't really mentioned about my insecurity to Zoe, except maybe once or twice. What this comes down to is, I don't know if I would actually want a procedure like that done, but I was conflicted because maybe going through with it would make me look better in a way. And to everyone commenting about Photoshop, it's not just about the pictures. Zoe said that she wanted me to get it removed for the ceremony as well because she doesn't want me to look bad to the guests. For reference, the mole is brown and maybe half a penny in size, diameter. What an absolute arsehole to ask this of you. Can you imagine taking a friend out for coffee and then asking something like this, telling you that you can't be in the wedding unless you have the surgery done to remove that mole? That's not something a friend does. I do want to say though, like if it's something that you wanted for yourself one day, then absolutely you go for it, but don't do it on a condition that someone else gives you. That's absolutely awful. Part of me would just decline it and then wait for the other bridesmaids to ask what happened and then say, well, and then just give them the truth and see how they react. But Pope says on this one, not the arsehole, Jesus Christ. Imagine a bride saying, hey Stacey, I know we're besties, but I don't want you in the bridal party because you're a big uggo and you're fat and you'll ruin the photos. That's psychotic. Your friend would be an arsehole if they simply asked you to lose 5 pounds for the wedding. We're talking actual surgery. Is that even that noticeable? Like size of a quarter or larger? Having said that, if it's something you feel insecure about and you'd like to get surgery, your friend is still an arsehole, but you can get some free surgery out of it. And if you're insecure, that might help you feel better about yourself in the future, I guess. Sam says not the arsehole. Any friend who tells you you can't be in my wedding unless you get cosmetic surgery isn't actually a good friend. It's completely bananas level of entitlement. A good wedding photographer is going to touch up the photos anyway and could just remove it that way, but also, if your friend was actually your friend, she wouldn't even bring it up. Everyone has skin marks like moles, acne scars, freckles, discolorations, etc. They're not a distraction unless you're a petty, shallow person. I know exactly what I'd tell any friend of mine who told me that I had to get cosmetic surgery for their wedding, and I absolutely wouldn't be at that wedding. Lies Trick says, oh my god, not the arsehole. She's asking you to have plastic surgery because she thinks you are too ugly for a wedding pic. That is insanely rude and over-entitled, and the fact that she is a bride is completely irrelevant. I mean, what was the alternative? A bag over your head? Rather than worry about a mole, she should worry if the camera can hide that gaping hole where a human soul should be. If you want to get it done regardless, you might as well let her pay anyway. Then tell her to take her bridesmaids an entire wedding and shove them where the sun don't shine. Because asking someone to do that is completely out of line. It's not something a friend would ever ask another friend to do. Please have some self-respect. No one deserves to be treated like that, especially not by a friend. And one more comment from Some Selection who says, not the arsehole, I am speechless. If you want to get your mole removed, then by all means get your entitled, selfish, superficial friend to pay for the procedure. If it were me, I'd withdraw from the wedding and from the friendship. Someone who values their notion of perfect wedding picture above their relationship to you and does not take pleasure in how you look because she loves you inside and out, that person is worth zero effort. This bride, she values her vision of wedding pictures more than you. She finds your physical appearance so offensive that she doesn't care to have it close on her special day, unless and until you have an operation to meet her beauty standards. Hard no. The only silver lining here is that you got to see her true face. It is very, very ugly. The OP added their update and they said, hi again everybody. I'm just going to post a quick update because I have to leave for work soon. Firstly, I've made the decision not to remove my mole. I realized that it was way too big of an ask even for a bride, and it didn't seem like she had good intentions behind asking me. Many of the comments were to go through with the procedure and then drop out of the wedding. I just don't feel right doing that, especially since I don't even know if I wanted it removed in the first place. I haven't told Zoe about my decision yet, so I don't know how she's going to react. I haven't told the other bridesmaid about what Zoe asked me to do, or if they were asked to do something similar. As some comments were suggesting, I think I'm going to reach out to them and ask. I will keep everyone posted. And we will certainly keep an eye out for that one because I really want to know how the bridesmaids are going to react once they find out the truth about this situation. Scenario I'm picturing in my head right now is that the bridesmaids find out that they're appalled by this behavior, which rightfully they should be. They ask Zoe, what the fuck are you playing at? And then I can imagine Zoe backing down and saying, oh no, you can be in my wedding anyway. Then I hope OP goes, no, I don't want to be in your wedding anymore. Thank you very much. But I don't know, that's just popped into my head. What do you guys make of this situation? What if a friend asked you something like this? How would you react? Would you be able to move past that? Would you still consider them a friend, or would that be the relationship done and dusted? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, as always, if you have a moment of your time, of course. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for spending it with this channel and getting involved. It's truly amazing. Thank you. And I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love.